Chapter 92. Heavenly Tao Order. The crowd couldn't help but chuckle at the words. Kang Chon smiled and said, "You are itching for Brother Lei to become the Thunder King, so you can monopolize the head of the Great Tang Seven, right?" Saying that, he laughed out loud. Liu Suifeng sniffed and pretended to whisper, with a cautious look, looking at the crowd laughing. Lei Yun laughed. "Other people say you are all Confucianism and righteousness. If you let them know your true nature, do not know how many women want to hang themselves." The crowd laughed at the words, but it's true. In front of outsiders, Liu Suifeng is full of poetry and books, a look of righteousness, known as Prince Charming by the women in the cultivation world. Who would have thought that his nature is so playful? Who wants to hang himself from a beam? So thoughtless. Is it a white boy? Then dying is just right. Just as the crowd was laughing, a savage voice came from the crowd, and the little girl Zhao led the yellow-clothed old man and Zhao Wuji from the crowd. Seeing that Kang Chon was here, the little girl immediately looked furious, her little face puffed out. Heavens! How did I meet this little devil again? I really forgot to read the yellow calendar when I went out today. When Kang Chon saw the little girl, his head was suddenly big on the side. The three thunderclouds were also full of black lines. The three of them had been mixing in the cultivation world for a long time. They had long learnt about the little devil's reputation, and they were in awe of her. "What are you looking at? If you look again, beware of this young miss digging up your family's ancestral graves." The little girl glared at the crowd. Zhao Wuji on the side was embarrassed. Even the invincible god of war had to stand obediently in front of this sister of his. "Damn girl, can't you be a little bit like a child of a big family?" The yellow-clothed old man blackened his face and angrily rebuked. Nay, the little girl did not pay attention to him, pulling herself to talk to Wuxianrong. Wuxianrong is also incomparable headache, hard head and her chat on. "Sister whore, last time I got my hands on a batch of ancient treasures. When are you going to take a look?" "Right, the painting you asked me about last time is the one I borrowed from the Li family's ancestral tomb. I heard it's their heirloom and asked me to take it back in the first place. I'm not going to give it back to them." The little girl and Wuxianrong chatted endlessly, although her voice was very small, but all of them were experts. Naturally, they could hear it. Hearing the words of the little girl, the crowd was so shocked that their jaws almost fell off. "This girl is really great." On the side, Wuxianrong was even filled with black lines and greeted the little girl with a hard head. The yellow-clothed old man who was with Zhao Wuji was already full of iron. If it wasn't for the crowd being here, he was afraid that he couldn't help but directly strike to suppress this little devil. Kang Chon and the three of them, Lei Yun and Liu Suifeng, looked at each other in dismay, holding back their laughter. Zhao Wuji broke the awkwardness and said to the crowd, "Let's go. The corpse-catching sex blood sacrifice ceremony is about to begin." With that, the crowd headed to Fengdu Mountain together. The rolling Fengdu mountain range had always been a famous mountain range within Fengdu City, rumored by the cultivation world to be the entrance to hell. Nowadays, this magical mountain range was looking more and more eerie. Everywhere was filled with a terrifying corpse aura, and the entire mountain range was shrouded in dark shadows, blocking out the sunlight. After 3 days, Kang Chon once again came to the front of Fengdu Mountain. Looking at the familiar mountain range in front of him, his heart was indescribably shocked. In front of him, is this still the earth? It was simply the ghosts of the underworld. The horrible and gloomy atmosphere spread out continuously from inside, making people unable to help but be frightened. The entire Fengdu Mountain was now completely shrouded by a gloomy aura, and the eerie aura flowed out as if it was hell. It was pitch black inside, making it impossible to see the scene within. What an evil aura! The yellow-clothed old man's face was grave, his gaze gleaming as if he could see the scene inside. Zhao Wuji also looked at the Fengdu Mountain in front of him gravely. Kang Chon, on the other hand, swept his gaze into the distance. On the slopes not far away, Some Fengdu city's cultivators had also rushed over, and among them, there was no lack of Yuanying stage powerhouses. There were even thousands of Jidan stage cultivators, and tens of thousands of Foundation Establishment stage cultivators. In the distance, many more cultivators from Fengdu City were rushing towards this place. These were all cultivators who had come to participate in the corpse-catching sect's blood sacrifice ceremony. What a lot of people! Kang Chon couldn't help but withdraw his gaze in exclamation. This time, Fengdu Mountain was truly a gathering of storm clouds. Almost the entire Fengdu city's cultivators had rushed here to watch the spectacle, and densely packed silhouettes stood all over the land. A glance at the darkness coming. Just as Kang Chon sighed at the large number of people, the yellow-clothed old man gave out a low hum. Immediately, the crowd noticed a silhouette ******* coming from Fengdu Mountain, but in a moment, it appeared in front of the crowd. It was a black-robed old man. His entire body was shrouded in black robes, and his face was covered with a ghost face mask, making it impossible to see his face. He did not have a flying sword under his feet, yet he was able to stand in the void. Clearly a Yuanying stage powerhouse. Kang Chon felt a hint of familiarity from him and couldn't help but frown. Then a bright light flashed in his eyes. He finally remembered. Back when he and the little girl first met at Fengdu Mountain, they had suffered an attack from a corpse-catching sect's Yuanying stage powerhouse, and it seemed to be this person now. The little girl on the side also seemed to have remembered, looking at this black-robed old man with some suspicion, muttering something in her mouth. The black-robed old man eerily glanced at the crowd. Then Gigi laughed. There are quite a lot of people coming, but my faction's blood sacrifice ceremony isn't something that anyone can watch. Apart from the Yuanying stage powerhouses, the rest of us have to go through the 10,000 corpses Chaozhong and be qualified to ascend the mountain in order to watch the blood sacrifice ceremony. The crowd couldn't help but wonder, 10,000 corpses dynasty, what the hell? But immediately, the black-robed old man revealed the answer, only to see him let out a long whistle that spread throughout the entire Fengdu mountain range. Immediately, the crowd saw an incomparably terrifying scene, only to see that on Fengdu Mountain, a zombie crawled out of the ground and roared up to the sky, indescribably eerie and terrifying. The crowd immediately had a chill, looking at the densely packed zombies in front of them. Their hearts were incomparably shocked. 10,000 zombies towards the clan. It is really 10,000 zombies towards the clan. At this moment, this Fengdu Mountain up and down added up definitely exceeded 10,000 zombies. On the road leading to the top of Fengdu Mountain, there were zombies roaring everywhere. Every one of the Yuanying stage powerhouses, please. After the black-robed old man had done everything, he clasped his fists at the group of Yuanying stage powerhouses and then flew away. Undoubtedly, in order to watch the corpse-catching sect's blood sacrifice ceremony, one would have to pass through Fengdu Mountain, which was covered in 10,000 corpses. HMPH. The yellow-clothed old man housed a cold snort as he stepped into the air and rushed towards Mount Fengdu. Immediately after that, a silhouette rushed out from all directions, ******* towards Fengdu Mountain. These were all Yuanying stage experts. Kang Chon carefully counted. There were as many as a dozen of them. It really didn't occur to him that Fengdu Mountain had gathered so many old monsters. This time, there is a lively scene to watch. Kang Chon greeted Lei Yun and the others, and also began to climb the mountain. 10,000 corpses facing the sect was shocking. This is the heritage of the corpse-catching sect. Even after so many years of decline, it still controls so many zombies. And secretly, there is no telling how many powerful zombies there are. The crowd looked at the densely packed zombies on Fengdu Mountain. Their hearts were incomparably shocked. They were not idiots. Did the corpse-catching sect set up the 10,000 corpses dynasty just to test them? This was absolutely impossible. The real purpose of the corpse-catching sect was to show their strength to the world. It was a kind of shock. Of course, Fengdu Mountain was that big, and it was impossible for all the people to go up and watch the ceremony. So it was necessary to use the 10,000 corpses pilgrimage to brush away some of the people who were not strong enough. As the dozens of yuanying stage powerhouses went up the mountain, the crowds below who were watching also began to move, and some confident cultivators gradually went up the mountain. Unlike Kang Qian and Lei Yun, who were young supreme powerhouses, these people, several in a group, teamed up with each other to go up the mountain and jointly dealt with the zombie hordes that kept coming from all around. As for some people who were self-conscious of their lack of strength, they were also unwilling to leave. They stayed in place and watched. In their opinion, this time there is bound to be a big battle in Fengdu Mountain. It is the same to watch from below. Of course, there were also some people who were not afraid of death, who were not strong enough and still wanted to go up. And as a result, they were torn into pieces by a few zombies, and their blood flowed all over the ground. At this time, Kang Qian and the others had already penetrated deep into the interior of Fengdu Mountain. In this mountain range shrouded in Yinqi, the sun's rays in the sky were completely covered, and the surroundings were all pitch black, and not a single scene could be seen with the naked eye at all. The people were all running their true essence in their eyes, which they used to scout the way. Kang Qian was now walking towards the top of Fengdu Mountain, step by step. The zombies he encountered were cut in half with his long black sword. Against these disgusting zombies, Kang Qian was not willing to use his fists to fight them directly, and chose to use the long black sword behind his back. Speaking of which, against these zombies whose strength was only at the foundation stage to Jidan stage, there was no need for Kang Qian to perform the Overlord Fist, directly slashing one by one and stepping towards the top of the mountain in large strides. On the other hand, Flowers Want a Wrong and Liu Sui Feng also each show means to resist the surrounding zombies. Continue to come. Flowers Want a Wrong after all is a girl, for the disgusting zombies is still very disgusting, her body around the petals flying. Directly in the body, around the formation of a layer of defense, those zombies difficult to jump the Thunderpool step. This is undoubtedly very costly true essence, but Flowers Want a Wrong do not care. She would rather spend a trace of true essence, but also not willing to be these disgusting zombies touch themselves. On the contrary, Liu Sui Feng is much more elegant. His Haren Genki is the most effective for zombies, those zombies. Once they encountered his Haren Genki, the whole body will emit poofing sound, smoke, and slowly be melted. Because of the complete restraint of the gong method, Liu Sui Feng was far more relaxed than Kang Qian and the others. In a short while, he left the crowd behind. He also laughed loudly and said, "All of you, let's compare who will go to the top of the mountain first." After saying that, he disappeared in front of the crowd in a puff of smoke and rushed towards the top of the mountain, furiously. Well, this young lady won't lose to you." The little girl was always the first to get excited about this kind of thing, as she raised her coffin board, and her boundless demonic aura rose up to the sky, instantly slapping the zombies around her to smithereens. The little girl ran towards the top of the mountain with a loud shout, and in no time at all, she left the crowd behind by a large distance. "In that case, I'll take my first step as well." Lei Yun laughed out loud. Lightning flashed around his body, and all the zombies he committed were blackened by the lightning, with blue smoke coming out of their bodies. Lei Yun was born with a thunder body, and the thunder technique he cultivated had the same restraining effects on Yin evil-type creatures. "Brother Zhao, Flower Fairy, let's speed up as well," Kang Qian said to Zhao Wuji and Hua Wanyong. Zhao Wuji smiled at his words. Then he blasted out with a fist, a golden channel leading directly to the top of the mountain, and the unparalleled power of his fist caused all the nearby zombies to vaporize. Kang Qian was dumbstruck. This was too strong, worthy of being a god of war. "You guys go slowly. Zhao Wuji smiled at Kang Chon and Hua Wanyong, and his figure went out, catching up with Liu Suifeng, little girl, and the others in a flash. Kang Chon and Hua Wanyong couldn't help but look at each other in disbelief as he laughed bitterly. "We're the slowest now. What's there to argue about? The corpse-catching sect blood sacrifice ceremony hasn't even started yet," Hua Qianrong said carelessly as she sniffed. The two of them then ran together to the top of the mountain. "Kid, you're good at picking up girls, deliberately detaching them." Dan Huang's teasing voice came from his mind. Kang Chon sniffed and ignored him. This girl always had something to say about him and Flower thinking wrong, to be honest. It wasn't that he didn't have feelings for Flower thinking wrong, it's just that after Wong Ting's miserable first love, there was always a knot in his heart that was hard to be opened, making him unable to help but intentionally avoid his special feelings for a Flower thinking wrong.